I'll jump in at the beginning. Parents, did you meet Kat as well? Did we do introductions? They weren't here. Sorry. Yes.
I'm Kat. I'm a co-principal and programs manager.
Yeah, so Kat will talk a little bit more about the actual course qualification, what happens on the course. But I'll just give you a very brief overview of Dancebox and what we do here. So I'm assuming you were all doing your research, looking at your professional training options. What are some of the dream jobs? That's a really big thing, I think, about making your decisions about where you want to train. What sort of things do you want to go into? You guys, anyone?
I want to go to cruise ships.
Cruise ships, yeah, great. Anyone else? Yeah, great. It's a good answer here. You read the website, it's a good start as well. So here at Dancebox, we really specialise in training performers for the cruise, cabaret and commercial musical theatre industries. By that, cruise and cabaret, quite straightforward. The commercial musical theatre industries, we mean predominantly dance-led musicals that have ensemble dancers in them, as that is our biggest pathway into employment. The cruise industry is a really big part of what we aim for now because it's the biggest growing sector in the employment, in the entertainment and in the employment area that we train for. So that really is what we do. Dancebox was started by Matthew, who's our artistic director, and the team that are around him are all West End experienced performers, but we all come from a dance background. So again, this is the biggest employing sector within musical theatre, is the ensemble dancer route into building a career. And that often starts with ship work, cruise ships, holiday parks, pantomimes, all of those kind of sort of entry-level jobs, and then you build your career through being an ensemble dancer, taking on understudies of the leads, and then hopefully developing those skills into performing in the West End is quite a pinnacle of that career, if that's what you want to do. Lots of people like cruise ships and keep doing that forever because you get to live a very amazing life as well. So loads of options out there in terms of employment now. And as quite a young and a small college, we really have our finger on the pulse of making sure that our students have every skill necessary to be successful in auditions for those jobs. That really is the key to everything that we do here. And we're very lucky that we have a full BA Honours degree course that Kat, predominantly, I had some input as well, wrote in collaboration with Buckinghamshire New University. Now that's our validating partner. But what that means is that we wrote that qualification from scratch and we could put into that all of the stuff that's relevant to getting employment on graduation. So it's not like you're going to be doing loads of work that's not really related to getting you to the career that you want. It's really, really focused and it's really, really rigorous training. And that's increasingly important today. We're finding, we have quite a few transfer students coming from other institutions where more and more training is delivered in the higher education and degree sector. And as that gets put into larger higher education institutions, they reduce the number of contact hours into what would traditionally be offered for a degree course, which isn't really enough to be successful because on graduation you're going up against students who are coming out of ballet schools, who are coming from a whole host of other training options and are trained to a really high level. You still have to be incredibly fit and incredibly well trained to be really successful in auditions. It's still a very competitive industry. And that's what we're delivering here. So as you look at all of the different providers, that's what I would really stress that you look at are contact hours, the number of weeks that the course runs for the year, the amount of training that's delivered within those contact hours, how much of it's practical, how much of it's not, and also the performance opportunities that are delivered as part of that course. Obviously in a college where there are 200 students in a year group, you're going to have a lot more competition for being exposed, getting roles in different genre dance numbers, in shows generally, but also, you know, the actual training that you receive. I think the biggest advert here is that all of our faculty know each and every one of our students. They know their strengths, their weaknesses, and they know what they are supposed to be developing and working on as they move through our training program. And the staff are there to push and monitor them and mentor them to get to their very best ability on graduation so that they can be as successful as possible in auditions. Again, we don't feel that that's what happens in big year groups. A lot of this comes because we, as a faculty, had all worked for very big providers where there were up to 200 students in a year group, and you can't know your students in that situation, which is why we all came together to work here, because gives us a nicer teaching experience as well, where we can really work with learners that we know. So that's a little bit of an overview of what we do and why. Do you want to talk about the course a little bit, I guess?
So it's a 3-year day honours in professional dance and musical theatre. So there are 2 optional modules for students that are interested in musical theatre, and the rest are core modules.
I'm going to interrupt you already. This is me being nosy. Who's a keen singer already? Anyone? Lots of shaking heads. That's fine. Okay. It is an element, of course, more and more, particularly cruise ships are asking, I have a vocal round in their auditions. So the training that we build responds to the audition requirements for the professional industry that we train for. So don't panic though, if you're not a passionate, keen singer.
It's fine. There are optional modules, should you wish, and you have an interest in that. If not, then there are dance-specific modules. There's only 2 optional modules, the rest are core. But within your training and in your weekly timetable, you do have group singing sessions, and you also have a one-to-one singing lesson as part of your timetable as well, just for that purpose, so that you are audition ready and have a couple of songs under your belt ready for auditions, should you need them. But the course, as Tom said, we were really lucky that we were able to write the course from scratch, so that we could ensure that everything in there has relevance to the training. We didn't want to put anything in the course that we were just ticking boxes to make sure that we had to do these things. So it's a very practically led degree. A lot of the modules have a much heavier weighting on the practical elements. Obviously there's written elements because it is a degree and you get letters after you know at the end of it. But there's a much heavier focus on the practical elements of all the modules. Obviously there's core dance modules and technical development modules, but there's also a heavy focus on industry preparation. So in years 2 and 3 we have full industry modules where we look at CVs and show reels and headshots and portfolios and understanding being self-employed and tax and national insurance and accountants and all of those things that you need to know prior to getting a job, as well as sessions on equity and spotlight, and so you're fully prepared by the time you finish. You know, you are your own business at the end of this, so it's really important that you understand all the legalities and the business side of things as well. There's also creative modules, for those of you who have an interest in that. There's choreography modules embedded in the years as well. Full 5-day timetable, 8:30 till 5 o'clock every day. There is theory lessons embedded in that timetable, but it is minimal. It's, like I said, it's very practically led, because ultimately that's what you're going to do at the end of it. So the more thorough the training week to week and all the rest of it, we cover a variety of styles across the week. Ballet and jazz every day, but you also have tap and Latin and lyrical, commercial heels, MT jazz heels, integrated performance, acting, singing, that forms part of your timetable as well, even though you're not, you know, assessed in it, you still have some lessons in it, just for additional skills training, body conditioning, stretch and condition, PBT.
Busy.
Oh, I'm missing something. Latin,
Latin,
lyrical. Yeah, so a whole, you know, we want to make our dance as versatile as possible. It's a really competitive industry, and the more versatile you are as a performer, the better the options are going to be at the end of it. So, but we have a really strong underpinning of the core technical training of ballet and jazz as well.
And a lot of what we deliver, you mentioned Latin just now, a lot of what we deliver is in response to our links with industry employers. So it was because one of our students had got a job somewhere and had fed back to us that they had quite a lot of Latin. Gemma, who you would have seen teaching somewhere around the building, also assisted on quite a few series of the Strictly Come Dancing programme and has worked on quite a few of the spin-off tour shows that come from things like Strictly. So Latin's become a more important tool for our dancers if you need to have as many strings to your bow as possible. So we've been able, because again we have the flexibility with the degree that we wrote, to drop that into our timetable as well. So we're making sure that our dancers are as skilled up as possible in the right skills for employment when they graduate.
I know what I was missing. So we have body conditioning, but we also have a really heavy focus, not a heavy focus, but a focus in year 1 and 2 on nutrition and injury prevention. So there's modules written to look at healthy dancer with regards to injury and nutrition and well-being, which is obviously a really important part of the training as well. I knew I was missing something.
There we go, got it. Yeah.
Any questions about course content, timetable?
What do you do if there are any injuries throughout the course of the 3 years?
There is. We do have, you know, inevitably. They're dealt with on a case-by-case basis. As much as possible, we try and keep the students in the studio to watch and observe, because they can still sort of be part of the lessons and the training, but from observing, etc. We have links with local physios and things like that. We don't have anybody on site, but we have lots of links in the surrounding area of reputable physios and things like that. But we deal with it on a case-by-case basis. But like I say, for as much as possible, we try and keep everybody in the room so that they're not missing out on anything. So yeah. Yeah,
but we have a facility if there's any sort of significant injury or something that is long-term that we can move people back in years and all sorts of things. Yeah, but generally we don't. And we touch wood, we have really good rates with injury. We do loads of preparation. It's embedded in the timetable all the way through, particularly the first term. As we work a lot on flexibility, strength, and getting everyone ready, rather than, again, it's knowing your learners, which is a really nice thing about the small college environment.
Like in the first term, we get to know everybody so well, and also we get them to understand their own bodies and their own limitations. That's so important, because everybody's different. No two people are the same. So it's really important that they understand their own physiology and anatomy as well, to try and avoid as much as we can. Inevitably it does happen, but it is minimal. We are.
Yeah, and I suppose that one other mention there is, in addition to the actual sort of physical support, you know, referencing to physios and bits and pieces, we also have quite a strong on-site pastoral care element. We have a pastoral liaison officer who's in 2 days a week, and so, you know, because injury can be quite mentally difficult to deal with, but anything can be. Moving away from home is difficult, you know, but all sorts of things can be quite tricky about the process, and also, you know, it's quite stressful. It's very tiring, the training, and it's a lot of work. So we've got really good on-site provision in terms of pastoral care as well. We're really keen on making sure that everyone's well supported. That's also, again, something to chat to them about. I say the students. There's a nice environment. Everyone knows everyone. There's quite a family feel to people moving away from home. There's a really good social network as well, which happens outside of college hours, so that also helps people.
And we feel the benefit of those small year groups. We see everybody every day. You know, if they're not in the building, I warm up, they'll have a phone call to us where they are. They're very closely monitored and supported through the process by us all, really, as a team.
Absolutely.
Any other questions about timetable related?
Fees, funding, all those sorts of things. Who's looked at different kinds of courses so far? Well, shout out some names of places that you've been to so far. Addict, yeah. Bird as well. I used to be on the ballet. My first job was on the ballet faculty, but I know all of them very well. Anywhere else? Stella Man as well. Okay, so already you've mentioned 3 different types of course that underpin the professional training. Stella Man, HNC, HND with potential degree top-up. Addict, I think the same. Bird College is one of the only other ones that's a BA honours degree, and then obviously this, I'm about to start talking about UCAS and all sorts of things like that as well. So there are lots of different courses that underpin the professional training that these different institutions offer. Bird still offers as well what we'll call the Trinity Level 6 diploma. Has anyone ever heard of that? Sort of. Have you heard of Dada Awards? More people nod at that. That's the only bit of free money that's out there. In the arts, the government got rid of most of it very quickly a long time ago. There is a small amount of grant funding, which is auditioned for. It's not very much, it's been tested, and it's only attached to the Trinity Level 6 diploma, which is not a degree course. One of the big benefits of us is obviously you get a full degree. Should you change pathway or you want to go on and retrain after your performing career, you've got a full BA honours degree, which carries quite a lot of weight. A lot of the other courses have different fee levels because the underpinning course is different. For instance, the fees may be slightly lower on an HNC, HND with potential degree top-up course. It will also be different on the Trinity Level 6 diploma. Those fees can vary from, I think Lanes have a Trinity Level 6 diploma course, they don't have a degree course, and their fees can be as much as £18,000 a year, for which there's no loan funding available. Right the way down to somewhere that's offering an HNC in the first year, their fee level might be very different, but the level of qualification and experience and training is also very different. So there's a huge variety out there, and it's really important that you are aware of how many hours you're getting, how many weeks you're getting, what the intensity of the training is going to be, but equally what the cost for that is, and then you need to start to make those informed decisions. So we're one of about 4 providers in the UK that have a full BA Honours degree course that underpins. Most of the others are the big players, so it's Performers College, Bird College, Erdang Academy, and I think there's maybe one other, and I can't think who it is. And they are all full validated BA Honours degree courses. That means that they work with UCAS to a certain degree, and you may well have seen through your colleges that there's a UCAS closing date coming up on the 25th of January. Some nodding, some not sure, maybe. Okay, UCAS, all of the full degree courses work with UCAS. UCAS just manages the application process for our validating partners. It doesn't really matter to us at this stage what's happened with UCAS. We can sort that out afterwards. The important thing is that you have signed up for an audition with us. So that's really, and that with most of the other providers, that's how that works. You would audition at the college, you would be offered a place, and then they'll sort out UCAS in the background. Ideally, though, by the 25th, you would have made your 5 UCAS choices, and then you'll be in the process of auditioning for those colleges over this period of time. Please do.
But the audition process for us is through our website. It's not through UCAS. There's been quite a lot of confusion about putting your audition on.
It's not a very fit for purpose system. And the problem being that UCAS also sends out emails that we don't see that says you need to contact your provider to organise an audition when we've probably already done that through our own website. So it's a little bit bumpy, the process with UCAS, but we have to use it.
So just to audition for us, you audition, you apply through our website to audition, not through UCAS.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you have the UCAS application in progress for yourselves, or can you do the audition process and then do the later?
Exactly.
You can, and even if you miss the 25th of January date, it also doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This leads me on to what it then leads on to. The reason for the UCAS thing and the 25th of January date is because it then starts to set up student loan company funding. So most people, 98% of our students, use student loans company loans to pay for their tuition fees. You can self-fund if you want to pay the fees yourself, that's absolutely fine, but most people draw down funding through the student loans company. That's the reason for that 25th of January date, is that they then, with UCAS, start to set up the student loans company funding for the degree courses that are offered throughout the spring. So you can apply for loan funding through the student loans company. I'm sure you know how those work, to pay for the tuition fees here. The tuition fees are £9,250 per year, which is the standard rate for a UK degree course. Again, I would say, and this is the sales pitch bit of ours, normally that £9,250, a university considers that to be a 30-week course. University teach for 30 weeks of the year, and the hours are, I don't know, somewhere around 20 hours a week, something like that. So that's what I was talking about making sure you know what you're getting for that money. We teach well over that just because we want to prepare our graduates to a very high level to make them competitive on graduation. The reason we do that is because we are a small and growing college. We're trying to grow our reputation, so we're invested in making sure that our graduates are well trained and that they go into high quality employment at the end of their course. That's absolutely key to us for maintaining our momentum forwards. So you can be rest assured that we will be hounding you in your 3rd year, nodding sagely at Beth who's in her 3rd year, as we approach graduation, to make sure that we're getting them into the very best jobs that we can. As we are a full BA Honours course, you can also apply for maintenance loan funding. That means tested, and you can find out more about that on the Student Loans Company website, but there is an opportunity to get some additional loan funding to help you with things like accommodation, travel costs, course costs, those sorts of things. So the course fees, £9,250. You can apply for loan funding for that. There are a few other small costs, a few £100 a year, I think between about £200 and £300 a year, which will go for covering some resources, some additional performance opportunities, some industry professionals, additional faculty that we get in. So there are a couple of small costs alongside that, and you can see some more information about that on the website. But there's no additional tuition fee cost on top of that, what would be termed a bolt-on fee, which you may see at some providers. I think that's that's sort of the slightly boring funding bit. But it is really crucial. It's really crucial because it could be that you see somewhere that you really love and you audition for, you get offered a place, and then you only gain a full understanding of the fees afterwards. And that's, you don't want to be in a situation where you can't take up a place somewhere you want to go because you weren't sure what the fees were. So just make sure that you're really well informed. Any questions on that bit? I think that's it.
Accommodation?
Yeah, and those guys as well, I think, probably. Yeah.
Any questions?
How does the audition work?
So, for the audition, we do a short ballet class.
I'm going to also introduce, this is Rebecca.
Sorry, yeah.
Rebecca is also on the panel at the auditions, and she is a singing teacher here. She's also head of our sixth form programmes, but with the degree students, works with them just in musical theatre and vocal context. So Rebecca is part of the team that auditions. I'm not, so I'm going to stay quite quiet.
So you do a short ballet class, a short jazz class, and a commercial class. So we see those three genres. You then do a solo song and then a solo dance in any genre of your choice, followed by a short, I say interview, it's definitely not an interview, it's just a short
interrogation
chat. Just so that we can get to know you a little bit and you get to know us as well and all that. But we just stress, we're not looking for perfect, polished dancers at audition. We are looking for that thing that we can't teach you, which is that fire that you have with this. We're all incredibly passionate about what we do and we want to teach students who are the same. And so we're definitely not looking for polished performances, we're looking for the potential in that audition. And this, the singing is done separately upstairs with Rebecca, and then once you've done your song, you come downstairs and do your solo and have your interview. So the song is...
Yeah, are there any keen singers?
No.
We were looking fairly positive.
We were looking scared about singing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very chill. You don't like. I can hear when someone sings if that voice is trainable. Exactly the same as dance. You can hear if there's that potential there. So don't worry. You don't have to sound like you're Elphaba and Wicked straight away. That's what. That's what the 3 years are for. So yeah. You don't need to prepare a whole song either for that section, just a verse and a chorus of something is ample.
And then solo dance, just something you feel really confident performing. You know, it's just something you can show off and enjoy. And
And I think just saying again about singing, we are a dance-led college, as I said before. We're predominantly dealing with ensemble dancer progression into employment. So really don't panic about the singing. It's we know it can be stressful. Some people in audition because they don't have a lot of experience with it, but really don't panic. It's one-on-one with Rebecca. She's super nice, as you can see. Just really don't.
It's the same with all the classes at the audition. We just want you to enjoy the day. There's no point coming to the audition feeling panicked because you're not. We're just really stressing forward. So enjoying the day and showing us what you can do.
So with the audition, it's group dances.
Group classes,
ballet, jazz, and commercial.
Yeah, they're only short, it's just a little snippet so we can see them across different genres. And then the solo dance, we just say choose a genre that you think is your strength and gives you an opportunity just to...
Any other questions for us? No? Feel free to grab these guys who have kind of come back from their lunch over here and get back here. Thanks very much for your touring earlier as well. Do feel free to have a chat.
So Ellie's degree 2, so she's in secondary training. Fess in degree 3, they both live away from home. Ellie lives a long way from home.
Questions about accommodation? Most of our students live in privately rented flats. We have after we've offered places after audition process finishes in about June, we have an orientation day here where everyone gets to meet each other. Often that's a point when people, find that they get on really well with these people, and then they, over the few weeks, Snapchat, whatever it is that the kids are doing these days, get together and then look at renting flats privately and sharing them with friends. There is YMCA. Did you live there?
They both
Yeah.
did.
Oh, you did? Both did? Okay, the YMCA they have a large new building just here which has some great accommodation as well. We have some host family accommodation through some of our junior school parents as well. So there's like a few different sort of options available, but chat to these guys is the best thing with accommodation. They give you a better idea of when they found accommodation, at what time of year, and all those sorts of things. And again, there's a nice thing about a small college. When you come to that orientation day, we'll throw in a few of our existing students who are helpful to give you some more information at that point. So,
talking about small college, we didn't explain that. We have maximum 35 in each year group. So current first year is 31 and they're split into 2 groups of 15. So some of the classes are streamed. So we have a student number cap of 35, so we're never at present going to go over that.
So do you complete the application process and the admission process first before you allocate places, or do you allocate?
no, we
No,
allocate
allocate
as we
as we
go.
go.
So some of those would have already been allocated. But as always, people are looking at us, I'm sure you are, at a number of different providers. So there is movement in the process right the way through until about June. So don't stress about that. We will, even some places that we've offered, they may choose to go somewhere else, and we have those movement within.
We have a wait list as well. We've talked about a wait list.
I haven't talked about in that much detail about the,
Yeah, so you after audition you'll get one of 3 options. Yes, we would love you to come. Wait list, and then a no, sorry. And with the wait list, usually you just kind of have to wait until after all of our auditions are done with that, and then we can make a decision as to who we offer places to from the wait list. The tricky thing with that is, if you've auditioned at other places and got places there, you might want to accept there because you don't know what that outcome's going to be. But we try to, once we've got past that last audition, then get in touch with those waitlist people. So there's some people start to chase kind of straight away, like, oh, when will I know? But it's best to wait until kind of June time, and then those waitlist places go out.
Yeah. Thanks. Right. I'm going to say thank you. I will leave you with these guys and feel free to have a chat with Beth and Ellie. I'm going to do it. But thank you so much for coming and seeing us today. And I hope you'll have a safe journey back. And yeah, thanks for your time. All right. Nice to meet you all.